What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today's an exciting one because what I have in front of me, the new heart of the beast for the Mustang, has arrived. Proudly made in the US of A. I also got some more parts from Alamar. So I got head gaskets, just got Ford OEM head gaskets, and also remember in one of my last videos I said about those little filters I pulled out the cab that I was may or may not wanting to replace. Well, obviously decided that I was going to replace them, so that's what's also in there. And then also a new radiator cap. It's amazing to just order OEM Ford parts from multiple different stores across the USA. I also got a new crank pulley, and we got ourselves a set of ARP head studs. So that's going to be another new addition to the engine. The whole engine, once I got this open, I'll show you what's going on. Basically, we have Marley pistons slapped onto Manley rods. We got it fully built as a short block, so I have to put the heads and all that back together, pretty much completely build the rest of the engine, which is completely fine. The most stressful part, I think, for any engine build is the bottom end. We know that is 5,000% good. I've also just been doing some research on the ARP website, just going over what the procedure is to do these ARP head studs. That's going to be a first. Let's get this box taken off and let's have a look what this engine looks like. This new bunch of gaskets. Damn! A bit of news. I know previously I said we may or may not want to reuse the block that I had. This is a completely new block. So not brand new, it's second hand. Compared to what my block looked like, where we had the engine rebuilt, they weren't too happy with the marks on the actual bores. And also, when they put my engine on an engine stand, a piece of the block actually broke off. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was this side, but it's basically somewhere we like ground away and made it super thin on one of these edges, and it was already cracked. And then when they put it on the engine stand, it completely broke. They weren't too happy with how the bores looked and everything. So completely new block, new Marley pistons slapped onto Manley rods, which we unfortunately cannot see, but this is how beautiful she looks. Absolutely lovely. It came back with a full set of O-ring gaskets, or gaskets for all the different types of parts around the engine, so that's amazing. Next step, probably going to stare at this thing for maybe another 5 minutes before I decide to put the heads on. And this is my first ever built engine from, like, I've had SR. Okay, the SR I first ever had was a built engine. But my 1Js, 2Js, and then the original Coyote engine I had was all just stock engines, just with bigger turbos and superchargers on. So this is my first ever properly built engine. So that's super exciting. It can hold up a lot more power. It's a lot more reliable, even though the stock one was amazingly reliable. So yeah, let's get the heads on. Enough talking. I'm super excited about this. Let me just talk for another 5 minutes over here. We're going to slap on the new... No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to bore you. I have unboxed our new head gaskets. And for some of you asking, why am I doing this on the floor? I thought it would be way easier to do it on that stand where it's super supported and it ain't gonna move around like being on an engine stand. And plus I don't have an engine stand, so just thought I'd do it on there. It's not that much of a train smash. So got the new gasket. New, like I said, just Ford OEM. They work wonderfully. So one other important thing to do before putting the head gasket on is using silicone.
Are you serious?
So what you want to do is you want to use a lot of silicone around where the combustion chamber is going to be, so you know it's going to be super tightly sealed, and I'm talking a lot of crap. do not use silicone on a head gasket. But we are pretty much ready. It's all perfect. You see how I put the silicone everywhere? I'm kidding. I did not put silicone anywhere. This is all on. Thinking maybe I should just put 2 studs in, just so the head doesn't fall off. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. I'm just gonna put 2 in where the dowels are. There's 0 chance of it falling off. Absolute 0. I just need to make sure these surfaces inside here where these washers go, this side needs to be super clean and free of any oil residue or anything. I'm gonna go ahead, get that all cleaned up once I'm ready for, because when I put the valves in, there's a little bit of assembly lube in some places. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up, and then I'll bring you guys back once I'm ready to throw the studs in. I've gone ahead and cleaned up the washers for these head studs as per the instructions. I had to remove the cylinder head again, put all the studs in, make sure like they're all the same height, so there's nothing blocking the holes. So now I'm going to go ahead. These go like the pattern side down onto the head, so that this pattern like grips as you're tightening the nut down onto the stud. And then basically this side will have, well, on the actual nut will have some of this assembly lubricants, so that it does spin easily and it gets the proper torque spec. And then what I need to do is I need to take each stud, lube the end of it, put the nut on, and then put it in. So I need to put the nut on first. I'm pretty sure I mean, you probably can just put these in first and then throw the nut on afterwards, but I'm just following the rule book over here. I guess it's easier to put the nut on here first than to try get a nut on when these are in. Maybe that's the idea behind it. I don't know. Makes sense to me that way. I'm gonna go ahead, get these all lubed up, throw these on, and then we can start getting this thing torqued down. That was probably a lot quicker for you than it was for me. We have all the head studs in. All of them are lubricated, clean on the washer face side that meets the actual cylinder head. I also triple checked that all the studs are just like finger tight. You don't want to torque the actual stud to the block. The torquing happens when you really speak to it nicely, and then no. The torquing happens on the actual nut, between the nut and the actual stud, not the stud and the block. We don't want to worry too much about that. We don't want to put too much stress on the block itself. This is all ready to go. We have a sequence of 35 foot-pounds, 70 foot-pounds, and 100 foot-pounds. I did see on the box it says updated instructions. So I'm going to have a look on the website and make sure that that's all good. If it's still the same, make sure you read everything possible. Stop, read instructions before you carry on. Yeah, I'm gonna double check instructions, but if everything is good, I'm gonna go ahead and get these bad boys torqued down. Torque specs are good to go. So 35, 70, 100 foot-pounds, which is 41, 95, and 136 Newton meters. That's all good. The head, I guess, is the easy part, putting onto the block. I mean, it would suck if you were to forget to put the valves in and you've clamped the head down. That might be a problem. I know we're good, yeah, because I put all new valve stem seals in new valve stem seals, and I lapped the valves. That's all good to go. Do you like this little forge here I'm working on? I freaking love that. I think that's gonna go missing when I eventually leave Justin's shop. I don't think that chair's gonna be in his shop anymore. Let's get this talk down, ready to go. The right side head is all torqued on, ready to get the cams put on, but I'm going to leave all the valves and everything closed for now, just while I'm going to obviously put that head on first. That should go a lot quicker now that I kind of have an idea of what to do. I probably could have done both heads like kind of at the same time, but I didn't want to overwhelm myself, and I just wanted to make sure, kind of get an idea for doing one, even though it's rinse and repeat. Now that I think about it, probably would have been a lot quicker to do it that way. But I was excited. I wasn't thinking clearly, and I was excited and stressed that I'd make a mistake, like put the intake side on this side. That would have been pretty hilarious. But yeah, we're good to go for the left side bank. I decided I was just gonna slap that other head on, so I didn't have to bore you with the exact same thing I just showed you that I did. Both heads are on. Starting to look a lot more like an engine right now, which is fantastic. I love it. That one took me about 2 hours less than this one. I'm exaggerating, but definitely felt like it. I quadruple, triple, double, singular checked that everything was good. We can be sure that it's good. It is good. So now what I have to do is, now I have to get all the rockers on here. Obviously before putting the cams on, I didn't clean them when I stripped everything because I just wanted to leave it all lubricated. And so I've just got to give those a quick clean. I can throw the rockers in, then I can put the cams on. There is a crucial step that I almost forgot to do before putting the rest of the heads together, which is obviously the Genzu Coyote, and I think all the Coyotes actually run hydraulic lifters, valve lashers, hydraulic lifters, whatever you want to call them. Basically what happens is, from being in the engine, this one I'm squeezing together as hard as I can, and you can see it is not squeezing together. That means that there's still oil inside here that's holding like pressure inside, so this can't move freely up and down. So I've done these ones. What you basically do is I put them in the vise over here and kind of squeeze them together to get rid of the pressure inside, and then you get this. See, that one moves nicely, goes all the way. So those are all done. And like I showed you, this one is solid. Doesn't want to move at all. Now, it doesn't happen to all of them, but it is good practice just to run through all of them, get them all cleaned out, so that when you put it all together, you don't have issues trying to start the car or anything, because your like valves and stuff is all out of sync and tune. I'm pretty sure there's more science behind that, but that's too much for my small brain. So I'm doing all of those. I have to do 32. Yep, 32 of them. This is 16 for the left bank, and then I got the other 16 over here for the right bank that I'll do afterwards. Almost forgot about that, but big crucial step. So yeah, I'm not going to bore you with this. So luckily you're just going to see, next thing you're going to see, I'm putting everything back together. It's probably going to be 3 days later.
2,000 years later.
We are officially done with the valve lasher kind of bleeding process for the hydraulic lifters. So they are over here, all ready to be assembled and put back in. And I've got the engine open now, so we can go ahead and put the lashers back in here. and then get ready to put the cams in. Yeah, I think I got the engine kind of to where I can see the lowest point of the piston so that the valve, I don't think it will touch. I'm just following Pro Demand. So Pro Demand is telling me exactly what to do. So they tell you exactly like what orientation to put the cams in. So I'll obviously follow that to the T. Let's get these lashes in, get the cams in, and finally get the top of this engine sealed up. I am so glad that I prepared and cleaned all the parts, okay, except for those valve lashes. Forgot about that. But it's so nice that I prepared and cleaned everything, and even all the bolts, everything ready to go, because at least now when it's time to assemble, I can just boom, do it. So got the heads pretty much ready to get put on. I do have it marked and labeled over there, but I just want to double check in some photos that I didn't maybe mistakenly do anything wrong. We are pretty much ready for the cams to go in. What we have is, see this little notch on the end over here. On Pro Demand, it tells you to put that notch in like a specific place, which is kind of pointing this way. The same as what they told me with this one, with the notches pointing down and this one pointing that way. This one kind of points this way too. So we know which way to put it on. Are both loosely in. As I was saying, in Pro Demand it tells you the orientation of which way to put the cam. This node was like facing this way, this one facing this way, and basically what it does is it puts the valves in a position where none of the lobes are actually pushing them down into the engine, so there's no risk of hitting the top of the piston. So that's pretty cool. Something I was definitely worried about. This makes total sense, so I'm going to go ahead, get these torqued down, and then we can probably move on and do the other side one. So yeah, making good progress. Happy so far. We have officially got all the cams in. So cams are in and she's ready to fire up. Almost, not quite. So like I said, that was probably 5 seconds for you, but for me that was maybe like an hour and a half to put those other two cams in for the right side. What we're gonna do tomorrow, I'm gonna do some more research and then pretty much see exactly the situation for the timing chains and all that stuff. So that we're gonna do tomorrow. So for tonight, I think that's done. It's been a long day. So tomorrow we'll get up, get an early start, and and then smash on this thing again. Hopefully have it all done within the next couple days, so we can go ahead and throw the bell housing on, and then we can throw the gearbox on. Still got to get a drive shaft made, but obviously we'll do that later on. Plan is to get the engine fully assembled, throw the bell housing, gearbox, throw it in the car, and then I'll be heading back to Canada by that time. Main thing was just to get the engine and everything built while we're down here. Good stuff. See you tomorrow. Good morning, ladies and gentle fellas. We have got our engine pretty much to the point where we can throw on the timing chains. So I've got everything ready to go here for the left bank. Right over here I have got ProDemand up and running, and we're going to follow the ProDemand order of events to get the timing chains and gears and all that put back on. Wish me luck, but this should be fairly easy. Obviously the first one might take a bit more time, and then I'll learn and do the second one probably a lot quicker. But these engines have 4 chains, so 2 secondaries and 2 primaries, which doesn't sound like it makes sense, but don't worry about it. It's okay. We got this. It's exciting. The engine's finally coming together, which is really exciting. I'm nervous because I don't want to make a mistake. But if I do the procedures correctly, I think we should be okay. Should be okay. I quickly came to realize when I was putting all this stuff together, I was like, I'm sure I got myself a set of Ford Performance timing chain tensioner upgrades. And so I went through my box of goodies, and sure enough, I got a set of Ford Performance timing chain tensioner upgrades. So this is the older one, and this is the new one. So these just basically press out of here like such. That presses. I don't want to pull it all the way out and mess oil everywhere. So I'll get ready for that. But yeah, and then we also got for the actual guides down here too. So yes, I'm glad I remembered that. So we're gonna go ahead and put these in. Just here to make sure, like, this timing mark over here is about in the 2 o'clock position, which it looks like it is. I mean, I can't exactly go anywhere else. Before getting into this and jumping the gun like I did and having to remove everything again, which you guys did not see, what I suggest is at the bottom of these tensioners, at the bottom here, if you're putting one of these engines back together, you'll know that you have this guy that needs to clip onto the bottom over there. And I forgot to do it on this one, so I couldn't get it in without having to remove everything again and then putting it back in. So PSA, don't forget to put that in before putting the timing gears and chain on. Okay, wish me luck. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Get there. There we go. We're getting there. Got the other gears on, and I've just started with the primary timing chain. So I got a billet timing chain gear. So the old one was like that, just like the stock one. So we got a billet one now, and so I just put some lube on there and busy making sure that everything is lining up. I just had some technical difficulties, so I had to restart my PC, but yeah, so far everything's going together nicely. Both timing chains, well, I should say all 4 timing chains are on. and everything is looking good. Got the 2 primaries and then the 2 secondaries on. Good to go. And we're pretty much ready to throw this front cover on. I've gone ahead and put some new gaskets on, so that's good to go. I just need to dollop some blotches of silicone along there, along these corners, and then we can slap the front cover on. And then we'll put the crank front main seal on afterwards, ready to slap this guy on. And then it's all the additions. It's water pump, it's intake, we pretty much got a full engine then, almost. Not really. Still got a lot to do. The front cover all on, it's all torqued to spec. We got the extra brackets over here is for the supercharger, got the water pump on, we've tightened up the VCTs. The next step I think is gonna be, I've got to put the crank seal in so I can seal that all up and make sure nothing goes inside there. I can start putting the intake, I guess I can put the valve covers on because I don't need that to be open, and then at least that is sealed and closed. So actually I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw the valve covers on, then do the intake and supercharger and all of that. But it's finally starting to look like an engine. I have to take the front cover and everything off again, and the cam gears. I forgot to put the cam phaser filters in.
Emotional, damn it!
Flop's sakes. It's gonna be a long night. Alright. 2 hours later, and we are back where we left off. So I obviously had to remove valve covers, front cover, timing chains, timing VCT, gears. I had to remove literally everything again, put the filters in, and then put everything back in again. So idiot. Although it was a lot quicker and easier this second time around, but still that was unnecessary. But we live and learn. I'm busy watching FD at the moment. Atlanta Pro seeding is on at the moment. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the intake put on, just to get the holes on top there blocked off so nothing can fall in there. I'm glad I actually saw and remembered them at that stage and not at any later stage. But it was still too late anyway. But anyway, we live and learn, and we can go ahead and get the intake put on, carry on.
Man, that's tough. If O'Sully can control himself a bit.
Yeah, he's getting really aggressive today.
Yeah. If he can dial it like 5% back, he's good. If not, then I think...
Yeah, see, it makes sense to do that. He has to take a look. Again, 3 points, that is a range, that's inside the so take a look at it. It could just be a quick inspection, everything's good, but obviously, make sure the car is solid.
Yeah.
Only try to have a full day tomorrow, the car's tight range.
Looks like our fan poll showed 52% going from that up.
Alrighty, well there we have it, folks. Engine is in. Just kidding. Not my car. I got you there, didn't I? You thought I left you out for the rest of the engine build, didn't you? Yeah, don't worry, I got you. We just got the kind of plenum on now for the, I guess, which is basically acts as like the intercooler for the supercharger. For some people who may not know, it's like a radiator inside here, and water flows in and out of here, and basically it's cold air, so when the supercharger forces air inside, at least the air gets cooled down. Running the same thing on that engine that I showed you over there, which is pretty cool to see in terms of like what I can do. Yeah, I just wanted to see if I can put the supercharger on before having to put fuel rails on, which I can do. I just got to leave the throttle body off, which is fine. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, get the supercharger slapped on, but She's finally starting to look like an engine. She is looking good. I can also go ahead and oh, I need to get spark plugs. Yes, I need to get spark plugs before putting the COPs on, coil on plugs. But yeah, I can go ahead, slap the supercharger on, and then engine is almost gonna look pretty complete. So we're getting there. In case anybody ever wanted to know what it looks like inside of a supercharger, that's what it looks like. Except this one doesn't do wop wop.
Common side effects include injection site reactions, headache, fever, nausea, dizziness, tiredness, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and sore throat. Fainting can also happen.
Just got the torque settings off the ROUSH website. So 25 Newton meters. And we start at numero uno over hero. 26 is good enough, I guess. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can officially say it's starting to look a lot more like an engine right now. Oh yes, beautiful. I don't know what the oil nest on there was, but I just need to confirm which injectors we're going to be running, and then we can put on our new brand spanking new radium fuel rails, which is super exciting. Previously I was just running like the stock rails, and what we basically did was just weld on some AN fittings on there, but now we will be running radium, so that's super duper exciting. Another addition that we're deleting is my, I don't know if I've spoken about this, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but something else we are deleting is my hydraulic power. Oh, it just peed everywhere. My hydraulic power steering pump, we are no longer using that. We are going with a electric hydraulic power steering pump out of a Jeep Grand Cherokee, or like a Dodge, or like, is it a Dodge Durango? I don't know, they use the same pump. We're gonna go with that. It's a nice big looking pump, strong. We're gonna go that route. And then another thing I'm looking for is to try find a right-hand drive steering rack locally. Well, I know it's almost impossible in a country that's mostly left-hand drive, but we want to get a rack that we can find in the US, because at the moment I have a Toyota Hilux rack in the Mustang, which is almost like a, I guess, Toyota Tacoma, but they're not the same. They're quite different, but almost same concept. So yeah, that's my next big task. Whew, this engine looks fire. She's fire burning. Okay, this valve cover needs a new spray job, but the rest of it is looking good. Heck yeah. Great success. A very good day to all of y'all back home. I pretty much got everything on the front end. I didn't want to really bore you guys with putting all the pulleys on and putting the thermostat housing on and alternator and all that. So that is all on now. I need to just get some new supercharger oil for the supercharger and torque these guys down. And then we are upgrading our fuel injectors. So I haven't put in the fuel rail or anything yet. We'll do that at a later stage. Once we figure out exactly what injectors we're going to run. I'm having a hard time putting the crank pulley on because it's pretty darn tight on there. I'm sure that's no biggie, but everything else is on. I was going to put the flywheel and clutch on, but I think I'm going to have a hard time getting it off the engine stand if I put that on. So, bless me. So, yeah, because the engine stand basically holds it on like that. So, I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. I think that's it for this for the engine build as it is right now. Next job is to get the flywheel and collect the bell housing, which is, oh, it's in my car back here, but it is a quick time bell housing, so that's over there. So once we pretty much got it ready to get dropped in, we'll put it on the engine hoist, snap the flywheel and clutch on, put the master release bearing on, put the bell housing on, connect it up to its beautiful beautiful 4-speed dog box Andrew's tranny over there, and then we can drop her in. So we're almost there. We're actually almost there. Pretty crazy actually. And then the real work actually starts happening. So this is a small part of what's actually going down. I'm probably going to do a whole build series on the car before we hit the track again. A lot's going to change. You be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Mostly the subscribe button, because so you can see the next videos that's going to come out and kind of watch our journey. And if you're new to watching this, then I would suggest going back a couple videos to when I first moved to Canada. Well, yeah, to Canada. I'm in the US right now, but I live in Canada. And kind of just get a bit of knowledge of my history and where we've come from, my wife and I, and where the cars come from. Obviously having a right-hand drive convertible Mustang out in the US that's not been converted to right-hand drive. I imported the car from South Africa, came out with us. If you're new to this, I'd suggest going back, watch some of the old videos, kind of see the progress, the history of where we've come from. Let me know in the comments if you're liking these videos or what I need to do better. I know I need to get a better camera, so I've just been using the GoPro for now, but yeah. Alright guys, we're going to be ending this video there. In the next video, we're going to be marrying the transmission and the gearbox. I mean, what? We're going to be, oh, I know it's 2025, but those two can't go together. We're going to be marrying the transmission and the engine. So we'll be putting on the flywheel, new clutch, bell housing, putting those all together, and then dropping the engine in the car. I'm waiting for the last couple pieces for the puzzle, which is the crank sensor, engine mounts, and the ARP crank bolt. So I got one of those too. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Justin Pollack for letting me use his shop while I'm down here in the US, and for helping me with his knowledge on this build, and for getting this build up to a spec that it's never been up before. This car is going to be a total beast. It's something I've always wanted, especially having like the dog box, all the new goodies, and a built engine for that matter too. It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait for the final product. So yes, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.